With just about 2 weeks left in the NHL regular season, the minds of many are switching to the playoffs. However, there are still some very important awards to get to before the playoffs get started. Hello everyone and welcome back to Penn State Sports Night. I'm Tim Rogers alongside Jacob Charis and Josh Bartosik, and we'll be giving you our predictions for some 2022 NHL awards. So with that being said, Jacob, I'll start with you. We're going to start off with the Hart Trophy. Probably, I think we could both agree, one of, if not the most prestigious award to win here in the NHL. So, Jacob, who's your favorite right now?
It's pretty clear it's Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs. This guy's having a historic season along with the Maple Leafs. They just hit 50 wins with their win over the New York Islanders, knocking them out of the playoffs. Sorry.
You didn't have to mention that.
Yeah,
it's
well,
okay. It's okay.
I did. And Matthews was out in that game, but right now he's on the verge of 60 goals. First 60-goal scorer since 2012 when Steven Stamkos had 60. This guy also had 51 goals in 50 games. That is unheard of. So the Hart Trophy is the guy who's most valuable to their team. And Austin Matthews right now is carrying that the Leafs' historic season going into the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny what he's done, but, you know, just like the rest of the Leafs, Matthews will kind of disappear in the playoffs. It'll be a mystery.
We don't know that.
And, you know, the word mystery kind of reminds me of Scooby-Doo, which brings me to my guy in Hooby-Dooby-Doo, Jonathan Huberdeau. He's got 108 points on the season, the first Florida Panther to ever hit 100 points in their franchise history. Really doing a solid job right there. He can either play on the top line or the second line, along with Barkov or Giroux. Sorry, all the Flyers fans out there, specifically our director and Zach. But, I mean, Jonathan Huberdeau, it's nice to see some new faces win it. We see guys like Ovechkin and Crosby and Matthews, guys like that winning all the time. And we haven't really seen a season like this from Huberdeau. Like, yes, 51 goals in 50 games is remarkable, but Matthews is known for that prowess, and we really haven't seen a season like this from Huberdeau. He's kind of having a breakout year. So I think, personally, in my opinion, I think you should give it to the guy that's having the breakout year.
I think both of these guys absolutely deserve to be in the conversation. If it was an entire award, I would give it to Huberdeau just because, look, we all know what the Toronto Maple Leafs like to do when it comes to playoff time. But switching it up now, we're going to bring it to the Goalie Award in the Vezina. And I think there's probably around 5 really good candidates that can win this award. So, Josh, I'll bring it to you first this time. Who's your pick right now?
I know I'm going to sound like a homer when I say this, but I personally think that Frederik Andersen is probably one of those guys that you can easily say should be the winner, if not one of the top 2, along with Shesterkin, which I know that you're going to get to in a point. But he's got 35 wins on the season, top 2 in save percentage, top 5 in goals against average, really carrying the team. And we saw a lot of people kind of threw him aside after he had a pretty mediocre season last year in Toronto. He comes to Carolina, a much better defensive core, much easier environment to play in because the media in Toronto is so harsh. And he's really been one of the main factors in Carolina who, as we know, for several years and the majority of the last decade haven't really had a consistent number 1 goaltender. Now they've got him along with Antti Raanta who's backing him up. But Frederik Andersen's got the numbers. Now, with his injury that he just had, it'll probably, because he's most likely not going to play for the rest of the season as it came out earlier today, even though his MRI was negative, it's most likely going to go to Shesterkin. But I think if Frederik Andersen stayed healthy, he probably would have easily won the award, in my opinion.
Yeah, Andersen, look, I definitely agree. He's definitely up there, but his second half has not been very good, and I think that's really going to set him back, and now with the injury. And I'm going to go up to Broadway. Igor Shesterkin, I don't even think it's even close that he's going to win the Vezina Trophy. Leads the NHL in goals against, leads the NHL in save percentage. This guy shot out of a cannon. He had maybe not the best season last year, but he was still getting comfortable as a legit number 1 goalie. And now he solidified himself as a true number 1 goalie for the Rangers. And they're prepping for a deep playoff one. The one question I have with the Rangers, even though they give up the least goals per game in the National Hockey League so far this season, is the defense as a whole. And I also question, is Igor Shesterkin the type of goalie to really lead the Rangers into the playoffs? Because goaltending is everything going into the playoffs. You need to have a rock there. And sometimes we've seen goalies that do great in the regular season don't fare so well in the playoffs. But the NHL awards are about the regular season, and I have Igor Shesterkin as my Vezina winner.
I think if Shesterkin should definitely be considered for it and probably will win it. I am interested to see how he will fare in the playoffs. He had a little bit of experience in the bubble, but really nothing yet when it comes to playoff time. But I think you picked the wrong New York goalie. I know, look, I'm an Islanders fan, but Ilya Sorokin is up there in top 3 in every stat, including shutouts. He's got 7 on the season, and he's playing for the Islanders. The Islanders are horrible. So for him to be up there with those numbers, I think he at least deserves to be a finalist, in my opinion. But now we're going to bring it, we always hear the phrase, offense wins games, but defense wins championships, right? So, Jacob, I'll bring it to you first on this one. Who's going to bring home the Norris Trophy?
Cale Makar of the Colorado Avalanche, the best team in the National Hockey League. Look, this guy leads defensemen in goals, is second behind Roman Josi in points. Cale Makar is the complete package. Going back to the Rangers, last year was Adam Fox. They played a similar style. But Cale Makar is just a better skater. His transition game is excellent, the way he moves laterally. And the Norris is given to the defenseman who exhibits all-around play. And Cale Makar, I believe, is a plus 48. So he's very good at keeping the puck out of the net. And you know what? He's probably one of the guys that was robbed last year. Actually, Adam Fox probably deserved it the most. But maybe even his rookie season when he won the Calder, he was a finalist for the Norris, and he easily could have made his case. So I'm going Cale Makar because the Avs and him have just had a really great season. And you know what? He's my guy.
Yeah, Cale Makar is like a ridiculously solid player, and this is a ridiculously stacked team. But you look at a team like the Nashville Predators who, for the most part, are kind of being carried by someone like Roman Josi and, of course, in UC Saros. Roman Josi's got 88 points on the season, leads all defensemen. The first defenseman to eclipse 88 points since Raymond Bourque in 1993, which for all you math heads out there, that's almost 30 years ago. So it's been a hot minute. And he's, again, like I mentioned, one of the few reasons that the Predators are even in the playoff contention. A lot of people thought that the Pierre DeBoer-led Vegas Golden Knights would be in this position. I kind of called it, but they're not, and the Nashville Predators have taken advantage of that. And so, yes, Cale Makar, you can probably say he's robbed last year, even though Adam Fox deserved to win it. I think he's going to get robbed again this year. I think you have to look at overall how a player has helped their team, similar to like we look in the Hart Trophy, and it's got to be Roman Josi. A lot of people, again, have completely just threw away the Nashville Predators like, oh, they're in a rebuild, and they find themselves in the playoffs most likely once again.
Yeah, I'm surprised, Tony DeAngelo's not on there. A great locker room guy, but I'm pretty excited to see how this plays out for the rest of the regular season. Sadly, that is all the time we have for today. The nice part is our segment lasted longer than the Toronto Maple Leafs and Washington Capitals will in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Ain't that right, Jacob? All jokes aside, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this edition of Penn State Sports Night. With the NHL regular season coming to a close, stay tuned for more playoff segments to come. For Jacob Cherish and Josh Bartosik, I'm Tim Rogers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night. We hope you liked that segment.
And we're sure there's other Penn State Sports Night segments that you are going to love as well. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content.
And check us out on social media for updates and behind-the-scenes clips and pics. Follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with all the action.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.